Hello and welcome to my tutorial for Dante. My name is Power, and I have been playing this game for over 10 years on a daily basis, and I would like to share my knowledge with you. This is an interactive video, which means that you can navigate through this video a lot faster by clicking the timestamps in the video description. This video contains an intro and lessons that will teach you how to play Dante step by step, from A to Z. It's good for both beginners and advanced players. I recommend you to watch the intro first, especially if you're new to Dante gameplay and jump cancelling and that kind of stuff. Because in the intro, I am going to tell you everything you need to know before you start practicing. After watching the intro, you can start taking lessons. I have prepared over 30 lessons for you that will teach you how to play Dante on a very high level. Please look at the video description below this video now and choose the category or lesson you want to go to by clicking on the right timestamp. If you don't want to do that, then you can just keep watching. If you like this video or if you think that it is helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Before we start the first lesson, we should talk about some important things. The first thing we are going to talk about is picking the right controller. Most controllers are fine. PS3 and PS4 controllers are the controllers that most people use. I use a Geotech PS3 controller. There is one controller you shouldn't use, and that is the Xbox controller, and that is because of the switched analog stick and dpad. It makes it difficult to perform certain techniques and combos. This tutorial is mostly for people who use a controller, but keyboard players can still learn from it. Many top players use DMC4's default button layout. You can modify yours, but you don't have to, and you can leave your controller configuration on default. The next thing we have to talk about is the right controller grip. The way you hold your controller can be pretty important in DMC4. Many people realize that when they are really good already, but then it's hard for them to switch to a claw grip. Claw grip means using the D-pad with your pointer finger instead of your thumb. That way you can use both the left analog stick and the D-pad at the same time, which makes many things much easier. As always, you don't have to do that though, and you can just keep your normal grip. There are also some top players out there who don't claw. Next thing, if you play on PC, then you're lucky. You got a huge advantage because you can download trainers. Trainers let you modify the game. With trainers, you can create your own practice room and cut your practice time in half. You can jump between BP stages and you can do tons of other really cool things. I've got two of the best trainers for you, for DMC4 Vanilla and DMC4 Special Edition. The links to the trainers are in the video description down below. The last thing we will talk about is the game speed. Make sure to turn on turbo mode in the game options for those fast-paced combos. Now it is time for your first lesson. So let us move on and look at the lessons. This is the lesson overview. Choose a lesson and click on its timestamp in the video description down below. If you are new to this tutorial, then it's best to start at lesson 1. If you're advanced already, then the first lessons should be really easy for you. The bonus lessons are lessons that don't really require that much skill or experience. Anyone can take them at any time. Choose a lesson now. Or keep watching and we will start with lesson 1. Alright, let's start with lesson 1. Jump cancelling. Before I'm gonna give you your first task, let me give you some important information about jump cancelling. Maybe you've watched some crazy combo videos on YouTube before. People can just launch an enemy and then destroy it in the air. Sometimes it looks like some players just turn off gravity. That's all thanks to jump cancelling. Jump cancelling, or short JC, is the key mechanic in DMC4 that lets us do most of the cool stuff you see in combo and gameplay videos. So what it means is that you can cancel any move by jumping off of an enemy. There is a skill that you have to purchase in the game. It is called enemy step, aka jump cancel, which allows you to jump off of your enemies. Whenever you JC, you restore your air hike and your trickster moves, like skystar and trick up. It allows you to stay in the air forever. But now let's see how to use it in combos. Instead of doing the full area rave combo, JCing cancels the move and lets us repeat the first hit over and over. If we look at it in slow motion, we can actually see the jump cancel. The input goes style, jump, style, jump, style, jump. It doesn't matter what move it is, you can jump cancel all of them. That being said, let's stop talking and let's start practicing. Get yourself a frost and give it infinite health. Console players go to the second room in mission 12. Now try and do this. Practice Rave JC like that. Don't forget, jump, style, jump, style. The goal here is to do this for about 20 seconds. Don't move on if you can't do it for 20 seconds. Let us look at some mistakes you can make. If your JCs look like this, then you're JCing too slowly. And if they look like this, you're doing it too fast. Don't worry, it doesn't take that long to find the right pace, and it's normal to make mistakes. And if your JCs look like that, then you're not moving your thumb correctly. Let's look into that. You need to slide your thumb over jump and style like that. Don't use the tip of your thumb though. Do it like this. If you've changed your controller configuration to something that doesn't allow you to slide your thumb like that, go ahead and change it back. With all that in mind, go ahead and start practicing now. You can come back to this video whenever you need. The next step is to add more raves before you JC. Triple rave, JC, triple rave, JC. Practice it until you can do it for 10 seconds. Step 3 is optional. It's way harder because it adds style switching. The input goes like this: Rave, Yamato, JC, Rave, Yamato, JC, Rave, and so on. Notice that there is no JC after Rave. That's because you don't need to JC Rave at all. It's a very fast attack, and it allows you to follow up with another attack without cancelling Rave. Never JC Rave unless you want to do another Rave after Rave. Now let's move on to lesson 2. Positioning. Positioning is one of the most important things when it comes to jump cancelling. If we don't position ourselves right, we are not able to JC correctly. Let's look at an example. JCing did not work here, even though the input was correct. The reason why is because we are not close enough to our enemy. Every enemy has a jump cancel window, a limited part or area on their body that usually exceeds their body. Dante has one too. If we want to jump cancel, the two windows have to connect. Now that sounds pretty fancy, but let us just visualize that. It is not as complicated as you may think. Now you can see the JC windows. As you can see, Dante is too far away from the enemy. That is why we can't jump cancel. If we want to jump cancel, we have to get way closer to our enemy and make the JC windows connect. Let us look at a picture of a jump cancel. Now you can see that Dante is close enough to perform a jump cancel and the JC windows are connected. But how do we get into the right position? We use moves or attacks that get us closer to our enemy. Attacks like Fullhouse and Splash do the trick. But for now, we're going to focus on the easiest method. A jump forward right after launching an enemy corrects our position and allows us to jump cancel. Every enemy has a different JC window. Most of them are comparable to the JC window of a Scarecrow though. Let us look at some exceptions. Frosts have the biggest JC windows. It is really easy to JC on them. Megascarecrows have really weird JC windows, and it's best to attack them from behind. As you can see, Cutlass is the enemy with the smallest JC window. Don't even try to jump cancel here. Now that's it for lesson 2, and I hope the info you just got is gonna help you to improve your combos and your gameplay. I'll see you in lesson 3. Jump canceling Full House. Full House is Dante's dive kick. It is extremely convenient and connects many of Dante's air attacks when JC. Jump canceling Full House is a milestone. It is a little tricky because it has a timing to it, but with a bit of practice you will learn it in no time. Timing is just as important as positioning. Step 1. Try to use Full House against Megascarecrows. Try to get a feeling for the timing. When you can JC Full House like this, it's time to move on to a Scarecrow. Console players practice on a Scarecrow too. Try to do this until you can do it 5 times in a row. High Time, Rave, Full House, JC, Yamato. Don't move on before you can do it 5 times in a row. This is how you should perform a Full House jump cancel. The middle of your thumb presses the jump button, and the tip of your thumb presses the melee button. If you keep missing the jump cancel like this, then that is probably because you tried to jump cancel a little too early. Jump canceling it too late is better than jump canceling it too early. It is better to miss the jump cancel by a few milliseconds. Once you've mastered Full House, you can start playing around with it and make some combos if you want to. Always try to be as creative and curious as possible. That's it for lesson 3. I'll see you in lesson 4. Inertia. Inertia is just another word for momentum. When I say that a certain move or attack has inertia, then that just means that it's an attack that makes Dante move forward in some way. Attacks that have inertia are Skystar, Fullhouse, Trick Up, Royal Release, and some others, but we will only focus on Fullhouse and Skystar because we can use them in our combos. In Devil May Cry 4 it is possible to make inertia carry over from one move to another. For example, if we jump cancel Fullhouse and then use an attack like Rainstorm, the inertia from Fullhouse carries over to Rainstorm and we get Inertia Rainstorm, which looks awesome and is really useful. Some attacks like Yamato, Helmbreaker, or Lucifer Splash aren't affected by it though. Watch what happens if you use Royal Guard after Fullhouse like that. Now that looked funny. That is what we call guardfly. It is a combination of inertia and guard cancelling, which we will talk about in later lessons. You can change the direction by using your left analog stick. It is possible to extend guard flying. You just have to do another jump cancel while you're flying through the air. That way, you can do even 3 of them if you use your devil trigger. There is no goal here. Just try to have fun with this and add it to your gameplay, and when you're ready, then let's move on to lesson 5. Guard cancelling. Just like jump cancelling, guard cancelling allows us to cancel some attacks. It is not as useful as jump cancelling, and it's best for ground combat. Let's take a look at some guard cancels. As the name says, guard cancelling means cancelling an attack by blocking. That way, it is possible to repeat the same attack over and over. The input goes melee, block, and so on. Most guard cancels are really difficult to master. Today we are going to focus on million-step guard cancelling. Try to do this until you can do it 10 times in a row. You don't have to be this fast. Just try to do it 10 times in a row. That's all for lesson 5. See you in lesson 6. Splash Yamato. Let's cut right to the point. Step 1. Do this on Megascarecrow for 20 to 30 seconds. Step 2. Now use it after Fullhouse Yamato. Do this combo 5 times in a row. That's it for lesson 6. See you in lesson 7. Combo. Now that we have learned to cycle through Dante's melee weapons in the air, let's finish this off with a nice long combo. Do this combo 3 times in a row. I'm going to write down this combo and put it into the video description, right next to the timestamp of this combo. At this point, note that Full House behaves a little different in Special Edition than in Vanilla. You can fix that with your trainer. Click on the option that says Fix Full House. If you are on console, then it's good enough if you cycle through your weapons just once and not twice. Now if you think that was too easy, then you can try to do the same combo against Bianco Angelo. You can even cycle through your weapons 3 times here. And that's it for this lesson, and I'll see you again in the next lesson. Jealousy. Jealousy is Pandora's most useful move when it comes to gameplay and doing combos. It is pretty useful, so try to implement it into your gameplay. Try to do this combo. That's it for lesson 8. See you in lesson 9. This lesson is called Bloody Palace Run, but it includes another thing that is pretty important. Do a Bloody Palace run from stage 1 to 20, and try to do every combo and every technique that you have learned so far, at least once. You can write down what you want to do before you start the run. Once you're ready, start the Bloody Palace run and do one combo after another. It is good to play the game a lot. Staying in the practice room all day only teaches us one side of the game. Console players are usually a little better at this than PC players. The second thing we're going to talk about is camera movement. Camera movement is very important in DMC4. If you don't want to get hit, moving the camera is going to help you a lot. Let me explain this to you. The game protects you from off-screen attacks. That means only enemies on the screen are going to attack you. If you turn the camera away from your enemies, they're not gonna attack you. So if you're in trouble, turn the camera away from the enemy. And bingo. Now try to do this. Go to the second room in mission 12 and try to stay in there and survive for 1 minute without attacking the enemies. Use the camera to your advantage and don't get hit. That's it for this lesson. See you in the next one. Starrave. I'm sure you've seen a Starrave before. It's one of the most famous things you can do in Devil May Cry 4. It looks very pro and really stylish. Now it's time to learn it. Console players, learn the following things on a Megascarecrow in Mission 12. If you play on PC, and if you have trainers, then it's best to practice Starrave on Burial first. Now use your trainer and slow down the game. Start practicing. The input goes skystar, JC, Rave, skystar, JC, Rave. You only have to JC skystar and not Rave. It might take you a while to train your left hand for this. Once you got it, do 30 Starraves on Burial in slow motion. This is what your hands should look like when you perform Starrave. Step 2. Now move on to a Megascarecrow. Slow down the game and do 30 Starraves. Now slowly increase the game speed and do 30 Starraves again each time you increase the speed. Slowly work your way up to turbo speed. Final step. Set the game speed back to turbo and perform 30 Starraves. Don't get desperate if it doesn't work right away. This technique is a milestone. It takes some time to learn it for some people. If you have completed all the steps in this lesson, then you're definitely not a beginner anymore. You're now an advanced player. Console players can be extra proud. See you in the next lesson. Ground combat. Ground combat is very useful against a bunch of enemies. Use it against scarecrows, basilisks, assaults, and chimeras. Try to do this. Melee, Yamato, weapon switch, melee, Yamato, weapon switch, melee, Yamato, weapon switch, and so on. Try to cycle through your melee weapons 3 times. If you can do this, then I'll see you in lesson 12. Double weapon switching. The following lessons are going to be about double weapon switching, which means switching your weapons from Gilgamesh to Rebellion, from Rebellion to Lucifer, and from Lucifer to Gilgamesh. Today we're going to focus on Gilgamesh Rebellion. Try to learn this until you can do it 5 to 10 times in a row. Try to find out how to switch through your weapons fast like that. Double weapon switching is not easy to master, but it is very useful and makes your gameplay a lot faster. That's it for this lesson. See you in the next one. Rebellion Lucifer weapon switching. Try to do this 5 to 10 times in a row. See you in the next lesson. Lucifer Gilgamesh weapon switching. Try to do this combo at least once. Switching your weapons from Lucifer to Gilgamesh is not as useful and important as the things you learned in the previous lessons. That's it for this lesson. See you in the next one. Double weapon switching combined. Now it is time to combine what we have learned in the previous lessons. Try to do this combo at least once. See you in the next lesson. Starrave. Let us learn Starrave now. This is pretty difficult, so you can try to practice it against Burial first. Once you're ready, get a Scarecrow and try to learn this. Try to do it 5 times in a row. If you're having trouble, then the problem is either right hand speed or coordination, probably both. This is how you should perform Starraves. Starrave is going to make your combos look a lot better. That's it for this lesson. See you in the next one. Rave Shot. Rave Shot is very useful because it keeps the enemy in place. At the same time, you lose height, and that helps you a lot with positioning. For example, you're in a combo and the enemy is about to fall. You can use Rave Shot and reposition yourself that way. Practice this in an empty room if you want to. Jump and try to do at least 3 Rave Shots before you touch the floor. There are 2 ways you can perform Rave Shot. You can slide your thumb over shoot in style like this, or you can do it like this. The second method is a little harder, but it's more convenient, and I recommend you to learn the second method and not the first one. The right pace is very important for Rave Shot. All you need to do is rave, shoot, rave, shoot, rave, shoot. Note that you can't shoot right after rave as fast as you can rave right after shooting, which means you should have a really small break after rave before you shoot, but no break after you shoot. Guard flying. We've talked about guard flying before. It's a combination of inertia and guard cancelling. I have some exercises for you that will help you improve your guard flying. Console players practice this on Burial too. Step 1. Try to do this 5 to 10 times. Step 2. Try to do this 5 times. Step 3. Try to do this 3 times. See you in the next lesson with more guard flying. Guard flying combo. It's time to use guard flying in a combo now. Try to do this combo 2 to 3 times in a row. See you in the next lesson. Shotgun Rave. Shotgun Rave is almost the same thing as Rave Shot. The difference is that it's done with a shotgun and it needs to be jump cancelled after shotgun. The input goes Rave, Shotgun, JC, Rave, Shotgun, JC. Shotgun Rave is a strong technique that is very useful against bosses and angels. Your hand should look like this. Just like method 2 from Rave Shot, but this time try to hit that jump button before pressing style. Practice it on Angelos like this. Try to do at least 5 Rave shots in a row. That's it for step 1, and now I have another thing for you to learn. It has nothing to do with Shotgun Rave, but I wanted to squeeze it into this lesson. Try to stay in the air on a Megascarecrow for 30 to 60 seconds, just like this. Console players stay in the air until the Megascarecrow dies. Congratulations! If you have made it this far, you're a real pro at this game. I'll see you in the next lesson. Wave dashing. If you're a fighting game player, you know how important wave dashing can be. It lets you move around quickly and avoid almost every attack. But how does it work in DMC4? It is a guard cancel. You do a trickster dash, and then you switch to royal guard and press style. That way you can cancel the dash and do another dash after that. Go to an empty room and try this. Switch to trickster and press style. Hold style and switch to royal guard. Dante will now block. Now you can let go of the style button, switch to trickster and hit the style button again. And just repeat. If you can do this, then let's make it a little harder. Much harder to be exact. At this point, I want to remind you that it's better to switch to a claw grip. I talked about this before in the intro. Please watch the intro again for more information. If you decide to try it without clawing, then try to perform techniques that require you to use both the dpad and the left analog stick like this. First of all, change the way you hold the controller. Hold it like this. Now you can use the left analog stick with your thumb and press down on the dpad at the same time. For wave dashing, move the stick into the direction you want to wave dash and then slide your thumb over the dpad. With that in mind, try to do this next. That's it for this lesson. See you in the next one. Ecstasy jump cancel. Ecstasy JC is the hardest jump cancel. You need to be very precise and need a good setup. It is also the most useful JC in the game because it allows you to launch your enemy in midair. That way you can do infinite air combos. Try to do this 3 times in a row. Go ahead and watch the next lesson too, because it is connected to Ecstasy. Lucifer glitch. The Lucifer glitch is what happens when you jump cancel Ecstasy. Not every Ecstasy JC triggers the Lucifer glitch, but it happens 90% of the time on turbo mode. So jump canceling Ecstasy is all you have to do if you want to activate it. Once the glitch is activated, it turns Dante's body into Ecstasy. What that means is that enemies get hit by Ecstasy if they touch Dante's body. You can do this forever. Watch what happens if you use Ecstasy. No rose. The rose is gone. But now the glitch is gone too. So don't try to throw a rose if you want to keep the glitch activated. Another thing that disables the glitch is switching your melee weapons. There are rumors out there saying that you need to shoot an enemy 16 times before you can launch it with your body. That is true, but the glitch isn't connected to gunshots. It's connected to how many hits an enemy takes and the time that passes after an enemy gets launched by the glitch. The glitch is broken in Special Edition. It takes about 3 times as long for the glitch to recover. You can use the trainer I linked in the video description. It has a feature that says Restore Lucifer bug. Click on that and the glitch will be back to normal. That's it for this lesson. See you next time. Guardflying 2. Now we are going to learn how to guardfly after skystar. It's a little more difficult to do it after skystar because you will have to use your left thumb for style switching and the directional input. Now practice this until you can do it 5 times in a row. Clawing makes this much easier. Once you get better at it, activate your TT and practice the fast version until you can do it 5 times in a row. Step 2. Practice this technique. Use the shotgun too. Step 3. Practice this. It is very useful and looks pretty stylish. Note that these are very difficult techniques, and it's normal if it takes you a while to get used to them. If you can do all of these things, try to use guard flying in your combos. That's it for this lesson. See you in the next one. Inertia Starrave. Inertia Starrave means that we are gonna use the inertia we gained from skystar to move away from our enemy during rave. And that looks like this. Do skystar and then pull the left analog stick into the opposite direction. Let go of the stick when you do another skystar though, or else you will skystar into the wrong direction. We practice it the same way as Starrave. Use your trainer to slow down the game and practice this until you can do it at least 10 times in a row. Console players go to mission 12 as always. If you can do it 10 times in a row in slow motion, slowly increase the game speed and do 10 Inertia Raves again, until you reach turbo mode. Once you got this, try to use it in your combos. See you in the next lesson. Final combo. Of course there are still many little things that you can learn, but at this point, you should be able to do the most important things with Dante and your Dante should be fluent. See this combo as a final test. Practice until you can do it at least once. That's it for this lesson. See you in the next one. Ground JC. This type of JC doesn't really have a name actually. Most people just call it jumping on an enemy's head. For this tutorial, I'll call it Ground JC. Let's get into it. Practice this. Step 2. Practice the same thing on an enemy on the ground. The biggest problem you will face is Dante's attack height limit. It means that after you jump, you need a certain amount of height before you can use attacks like Fullhouse, Helmbreaker, etc. So for example, if you press melee too early right after you jump, Dante will just jump and do nothing. Timing and pacing is very important when it comes to ground JC. Many things are possible. You can use it against Frosts and Basilisks. Basilisks are the most difficult ones because their JC window is extra tight. That's it for this lesson. See you in the next one. Starrave. As the name says, Starrave is a Starrave to the side. The input is close to Inertia Starrave, but it's way harder. It requires more coordination and more hand speed. Before we start, consider changing your controller grip to a claw grip. It will make you learn this technique much faster. Watch the intro for more information. If you're on PC, then practice it on Bayo and slow down the game. Once you get more consistent, speed up the game and move on to a Megascarecrow and try it again. If you're stubborn and you don't want to claw, then this is what you should do with your left thumb when you Starrave. Move the stick and then quickly slide your thumb over the dpad, over Swordmaster and Trickster. Good luck and see you in the next lesson. Guardflying 3. This is the hardest type of guardflying. Basically, it's two guardflies chained together. Look at this. Skystar to your enemy and guardfly back. Skystar back to your enemy and then guardfly back. That's what we are going for. You can get even faster at this and do even 3 of those. But that requires insane speed and coordination. For that reason, 2 are good enough. The game allows 4, but it's impossible for a human to be that fast. Good luck for your practice. That's it for this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one. Reversed Rave. Reversed Rave is the hardest technique Dante has to offer. It requires insane hand speed and coordination. The input is almost identical to the one from guardflying 3. The difference here is that you don't lose height and you can do an infinite amount if you're good enough. Practice it on a Megascarecrow and slow down the game if you can. Slowly increase the game speed as you get better. Try to do at least 3 reversed raves on turbo speed. That's it for this lesson. If you have made it through every lesson, then there isn't much that I can teach you anymore. You're probably one of the best Dante players out there. If this tutorial helped you, then leave a like and a comment. Now go to the video description and pick another category, or just keep watching and we'll talk about the bonus lessons. Devil Trigger Distortion. Short DT Distortion is when you devil trigger during an attack. And what that does is, it makes that attack stronger. It's useless for most attacks, but there are a few Gilgamesh attacks that get ridiculously strong when combined with DT Distortion. The most important one is Distorted Real Impact. You can tell that there is an extra hit when you DT. When you use DT Distortion, make sure not to use DT too early or too late. The right timing is important for more damage. Just look at this example and practice. You will learn it quickly. Let's compare the damage of a normal real impact and a distorted one. You can kill bosses easily with this technique. Hope this technique is going to help you. I'll see you in the next lesson. In Devil May Cry, it is possible to reverse most of Dante's attacks, even the ones that require you to aim at a target, like Stinger for example. This might seem useless, but it still has some use. You can actually hit an enemy with backslide for example. It has a very strict timing to it, but with some practice, you can get pretty consistent at it. This is how it works. You need 2 attacks. one attack that sets up the reversal, and another attack that you want to reverse. For this example, Helmbreaker will be attack number 1 and Stinger will be attack number 2. Now, at the end of Helmbreaker, you can input the command for Stinger. When I say at the end, I don't mean after Helmbreaker, I mean at the end, right before the animation ends. Input the command for Stinger, let go of lock-on right after, and pull the analog stick back into the opposite direction. So, at the end of each attack, there is this little input window before the animation ends, when you can input the command for the next attack you want to do. If you input the command here, Dante will automatically do the next attack, and it is that little attack delay that is created by the end of attack 1's animation that we can use to stop aiming at the enemy and actually change the direction of our attack. If you did everything right, you get a reverse Stinger. The timing is pretty tight, and it takes a while to find the right little input windows at the end of each attack, but it's not that hard. You can try to reverse other attacks too if you want. Attack number 1 doesn't have to be an actual attack. It can be any move, like a gunshot, a taunt, or a jump. Have fun with this technique and see you in the next lesson. Dante's round trip glitch is very easy to perform, and it's not a very useful glitch in general. All you gotta do is hold melee on a different weapon, and then quickly switch to Rebellion and let go of melee. The only important thing that you need to know is that this glitch requires a move or an attack's animation to buffer. For example, you cannot just hold melee and then switch to Rebellion after just standing there after Fullhouse. You need to do another attack and use it to buffer round trip. So let's do this. Jump and do Fullhouse. Hold melee. Now, use Judgment Cut as a buffer move, and at the end of Judgment Cut's animation, switch to Rebellion and let go of melee. That's it. I hope you're going to have fun with this glitch, and I will see you in the next lesson. In Devil May Cry 4, it is possible to cancel the last hit of Million Step with high time. Normally it looks like this. But this is what it looks like when you cancel the last hit. How does this work? The key is reversing Million Step. Right before the final hit, input high time. And that's it. This glitch is pretty useless, but I hope you will still have some fun with it. See you in the next lesson. There is one move in Devil May Cry 4 that many players forget about. Mustang. I just want to remind you that Mustang is a pretty stylish move, and that it's pretty useful too. Just watch this, and maybe you will use it more often in the future.